Hey everyone, this is Melissa with Sew Steady. Thanks for joining me today. So we are going to be focusing on making this cute little rag quilt project. So this is my first time doing a rag quilt. And I think they're great because they're so beginner friendly. Um, you're just kind of layering your sandwiches together and using a quilt as you go method. And they just have that soft, cozy charm, look, and feel. And if you use your 3 layers, I did all the same colors for that, and it really just makes your rag stand out. And then using really soft cotton and flannel, I didn't use any batting, so I just have a layer of cotton, layer of flannel, layer of cotton, and then we're going to have these inlay blocks that go on top. And then that's what really made my rag pop out. I love it. So I thought it turned out really good. This is only one washing so far. So I think if I continue to wash it, it's going to rag a little bit more. So with rag quilts, usually people do a traditional X in the middle, and that's what holds all of the layers together. And I thought it would be fun to use our quilting designs to hold all the layers together instead of an X. So that's what I did. I used designs from our Big T Elevate box. So these are based on the Wreath 16 and I think the Spinifex 10. And I just alternated 2 designs. And that was just, it was kind of my first time, and I just thought it would be fun to do it. So I did this with embroidery, but you could do it with the rulers as well, whichever you're comfortable with. Excuse me. It comes together really fast with the embroidery. So you can just get all your blocks prepped, and then we're going to sew them together, just a little seam allowance, and then we'll go and put the designs on them, and then you put it together, and it just comes together really fast. So, and then the nice thing about a rag quilt is you can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. I've seen people doing a rag pillow, a rag purse. Um, this was just like a little mini baby throw. Today I'm just going to do 9 blocks for the class because it's kind of just a repetitive thing once you get going on it. So then from there you can make it as big as you want. So the Big T, so the designs, again, we're focusing on the designs that we highlighted during our quarter 2 Big T Elevate Box Club, which again would be our Wreath 16 with Echo template, and then our Spinifex 10 templates. And then, of course, we also got the Dahlia template in the box. So any of those templates, or, whatever you have, you can also use templates from, whatever you have in your stock. And I'm going to do embroidery today. So we're going to be focusing on the EmbroideLee designs that were part of the Big T. I have a couple circled that I think I'm going to do. So I'm just doing 9 blocks. I'm going to have 3 rows of 3. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do like 2 designs and alternate them or 3 designs. I haven't decided yet, but there's lots of different designs to choose from in our EmbroideLee collection. So that's what we're going to be doing. And for the blocks, I just did, get these organized here. So again, I did all white for my layers. This is going to be the inlay block. And so that's what I'm going to do. This is a 6.5-inch block. That's going to be the inlay. So that's going to be what we're going to actually be on the very top. And then to build the sandwich, I just have a really nice soft white cotton. Then I have a really soft, flannel. And then we're going to do the white cotton again. So you could double up. I've seen people double up on the flannel. You could put 2. You could put a piece of batting in the middle. I liked this just because these 3 layers, they're all really soft. They all similar, again, all the similar colors. So you can see how that kind of just ragged really nice together once you clip it. So that's what I like to use. You could mix it up and do whatever you like though. I felt like this just really stood out. So that's how I'm going to do it. So these 3 layers are all 8 inches. So you're going to have a backing, your flannel or batting or whatever you want to use in the middle, and then your top again. And again, this is just a really soft, plain white, 100% cotton fabric. And then your, this is like a really soft, I think it's like a flannel. Yeah, just a really soft white flannel. So those are all your 8 inches. And then once we have the top on, so this is going to be your layering. So you've got your 3 layers right there. And then our inlay is going to go right on top. So we're going to get these all prepped. And what we're going to do is create the blocks first. We're going to make sure our inlay is centered on the other three. And then we're going to just sew an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch all the way around this so that those blocks are kind of held together. And then we're going to do the embroidery designs on each of the individual blocks. Then we're going to sew them together, clip it, and that's it. Easy, easy peasy, goes fast, but still a lot of room to be creative with it. And then again, however big you want to make it. So I'm going to get this stuff cleared up and then we'll put our blocks together and get going on this project. Okay, so to start, we're going to take one of our 8-inch blocks. It's going to be the bottom or the backing, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to do the layer of batting, flannel, whatever you want to call that. I'm going to put that right there. And then one more layer of the cotton on top. And you could use some basting spray if you want. I might do that just to kind of hold everything together until we get it. You don't need a lot. I'm going to do a little bit in the middle, kind of will help hold those together so they don't shift. And then what we're going to do, we just want to make sure that this is centered. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can just do a little finger pressing on this both ways so you kind of find the center there. And then I guess we should have done it before we put the spray on this one, but you'll want to do that on this one as well. I guess I'm just going to do it with all 3 layers. But next time, take that top layer first and we'll just kind of want to know where the center is at. So you're just kind of giving yourself a little idea where that center is at. I mean, you could measure, you know, I don't know, whatever, there's a bunch of ways to do it. Just kind of want to make sure that's centered as well as possible. You could get a little ruler. I mean, honestly, rag quilts are so forgiving, so I don't sweat too much about it. As long as it's, you know, somewhat centered in there, looks pretty good. And then we can give that a little basting too, pin it, however you want to do it. We can add a little pin here in the middle, kind of hold all those layers together. And then what we're going to do is, so on my first one, I think I just did an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If you feel like, depending on what type of fabric your inlay is, you know, is it tightly woven, is it not, you might want to come in 1/4 of an inch. I feel like when this rags, it really hides it anyway, so you're not going to see it. So I'll leave that up to you, whether you want to do an 1/8 of an inch or, and probably too, like the use of it, you know, if it's going to be a heavy used item or if it's more of a decorative item, might dictate how thick you want that seam allowance all the way around. So it's just going to be a square all the way around. We're going to sew, and that's it for right now. We're going to do that with all of the blocks. I've got 9 blocks. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get them prepped here first. Just going to follow the same routine that I just did. We'll do that with all 9 blocks, and then we'll head over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew these down. So let's get all 9 blocks done first. There's one, and I was trying to press them as I get this out of here. I had my fabrics already cut sitting over here for I don't know, like a month or something, and I just hadn't, they got all wrinkly, so I have my iron right here. I'm just going to go ahead and get these layered and ironed so that everything is nice and straight and flat. And you do want things cut. I mean, again, it, like I said, is pretty forgiving, but you do want things cut, you know, fairly straight so that your rags real nicely. But I had a lot of fun making it. I don't know how many of you have done rag quilts. Have you ever done our designs in the middle, or have you just done the X's? I think it's a lot of fun to do the designs in the middle. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and do this top layer before I put the basting spray on. Make sure I find that. So then I'm going to line that up. Here's my center. I'm going to take my inlay piece and do the same thing. I'm actually using a batik fabric for my inlay, so we'll see how well this turns out, but it should be all right. Think about like right there, probably pretty good. I'm just going to put a little bit on the there. And I'm just doing just a little bit. It's just kind of like to hack it in place. I'm not trying to stick it on there for good here. We'll be sewing it down. So then I'm going to just put another little pin there. All right. So 2 done. I'm doing 9. What is that? 7 more to go. All right, let's get to it. All right, this is our last one. So it goes really fast. Well, obviously when I can speed up the camera, it looks like it goes really fast. But if you have all your blocks pre-done anyways, like cut up, it does actually go really fast. You could probably make a pretty good size quilt in a day if you had all your stuff pre-cut up and ready to go. I was sitting here trying to decide what color thread I wanted to use. If I really want it to stand out, I think I do, because obviously we want to see our pretty embroidery designs. And there's my last one. Apparently I have an extra block left over. Must have cut one too many. Alrighty, so this white cotton is already kind of fraying, which I guess that's a good sign. I mean, normally I don't like that in projects, other projects that we're working on when it frays, but for this one, fine, because we want it to fray. So that's our 3 layers. We have well, 4 layers actually. We have the backing, the flannel, the top, and then our inlay piece. 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, 6.5. And that's what we're going to do, 9 blocks. So let's head over to the machine and we're going to go ahead and piece around each one. Okay, I need a new needle. So I'm going to do that first. I wanted to show you, I was making this little cute pouch. This was from Parker on the Porch. Totally segueing into something else here, but I thought it was so cute. I haven't made a little bag like that before, and it was just adorable. Anyways, so it really ate up my needle though, because there was a lot of layers. So I am going to put in a fresh needle before we even get started. And that way I don't have any goofy thread issues. So let me get my needle in here. All right, thread this up here. Make sure I throw that needle away. Done that before. I've set them aside and then I've been like, oh, I have an extra needle, and it was a needle I should have thrown away. So, okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to stitch this down. So everything should be kind of nice in there together. I think I'm just going to do 1/8 of an inch like I did before. So we're just going to go all the way around our blocks here. And I'll probably do a little back stitch. I'm just using a white thread for right now. We'll do a different color thread when we get ready to do the embroidery on our designs, for the designs. But for now, we're just going to use our white thread and stitch all these down. So I'll probably kind of skip through, and go one more. This part a little fast too, kind of boring. We're just going to be doing all 9 blocks the same. Well, let's get through this first one. We'll take a look at it, make sure we like everything about it. Need another one. There we go. One more. And then just right where we started. There we go. So that is what we're going to be doing on all the blocks. We're just going to, it's just going to look like on the back, which is nice. I don't really want it to stand out that much, but all that's going to get, all that's going to be part of the rag up there. So that is what it's going to look like. So let's do all 9 blocks, or however many blocks you're doing. If you wanted to just start small, you could just do 4 blocks and then make a cute little table topper or something. Or if you want to get started on a big quilt for the summer, this is a good project to get started on. And if you're new to using the embroidery designs, this is a great way to just do a nice simple design in the middle. So for instance, like this block, we might use this design right here. And yeah, it just gives you a nice way to kind of try out all the different designs, see what they look like, put them on a block. So I think that's kind of a fun way to use the embroidery designs as well. So anyways, let's get started on the rest of the blocks. We're just going to work our way through. Just one down. it. Last one. Okay. So these are now all sewn together. So I'm just going to give them a quick press with the iron, and our next step is right on to the embroidery. So easy as that. They come together fast. So I'm going to get my machine set up for embroidery. I'm going to give these a quick press and get my designs loaded, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'll show you the 3 designs that we're going to do. I just went ahead and wanted to test out the designs, make sure everything looked good, but that's one of them. So I'm going to do 3 of these. And that is, let's see, that is going to be design. Let me find it in our thing here. So that's going to be the BT6. See right there, right there. That's going to be this design right here. That's one of them I'm going to do. And then the next one, which is based on our wreaths, is, let's see, it's going to be BT 22. So it's going to be this one right here. And that's what this looks like. So I think it turned out pretty cute. And then we're going to do one of the hexagons, which was part of our Q2 as well. And let's see. So I'm going to be doing BT 17, and that's what that one looks like on there. So cute. I'm going to do 3 of each because I have 9 blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and get these finished embroidered. And so what I'm doing is, since these are pretty small designs, because this is only a 6.5 inch, so I'm only using the 5-inch designs. I'm just using my crosshair square and using that to find my center real quick, giving that a quick mark. Let's see. About there. Oops. Probably about there. And then that's all I need is to find my center, and then we're just going to embroider those out. So I've got 3 of each of those designs will get done, and then we'll lay them all out and see how we want to put it together. So I'm going to get this on here. I'm just using my small hoop because it is a pretty small design. Make sure that's in there correctly. Give myself a little bit of space if I need to move it and adjust it. And then I'm going to head over to the machine. These stitch out in about a minute, so that is pretty fast too. I think that what I like about this is that if you do have, like, you want to make a quick gift, you have limited time, the rag quilt, you know, it's a quilt as you go, so that always just makes it go together really fast. And then you have these great designs that stitch out in a minute. Looks like you've spent all day on it, and you have a great little gift to give somebody. So I was trying to see why my camera seemed like it was a little fuzzy there for a little bit. I apologize for that. I'm not sure why, but hopefully it'll unfuzzy itself here. There we go. Block done. That's how fast it goes, guys. All right, so this is the second design. This one takes 2 minutes. So that's this design right here. That takes about 2 minutes. Still, not very long. Oh, piece a little. And this is a fun play on the wreath 16 as well, where you do the initial design and then you come back and do kind of a partial to get this look. I really like it. Very summer oriented. And these designs work really good with the template or reverse applique. And you could do that with a rag quilt block too. You could have 2 inlays, and so that you could cut away one of them and get, you know, a template look as well as doing the rag quilt. That might be an idea. I might try that sometime. That would be really cute. And they go fast. So they're nice. It's a nice way to do the designs if you are in a pinch and you really want to do something cute for somebody. Or, you know, a lot of the quilting machines, you know, have embroidery. If you haven't really dived into embroidery, this is a good way too. I know a lot of people have really nice machines and they do a lot of ruler work and they have embroidery but haven't actually done embroidery. So I like to do both. So I go back and forth between ruler work and embroidery. Sometimes I do both together. I really do like ruler work. I'm not going to say I don't. I do love it. And then there's a time and a place where I love embroidery too. And it's nice that they're all our designs, so they all complement each other and go together. Make really, really fun projects. All right, so I'm just going to do this one more time, and I will have 6 blocks done just like that. And we'll do our last design. Okay, this is the last design we're doing, the hexagons. So I'm going to do 2 more blocks of these, and that will round out all 9 blocks. Just like that. What, 10 minutes maybe, 20 minutes? And this is supposed to just be simple. I'm not trying to get super intricate. I mean, you could always add more designs. You could come back with templates and do some echoing. This is just to kind of give you some basic ideas, something simple, something quick, and get a really neat finished product at the end. So let's do 2 more of these and then we're done. Actually, 1 more of these and we're done. All right, so there are the 9 completed blocks. So I went ahead and arranged them so no 2 design was like right next to each other, and I only had 3 designs, so I just kind of alternated them as I went. So now we're ready to put it together. I did go along and just kind of make sure my blocks were trimmed up so everything matches, but what we're going to do is take our first set of blocks, wrong sides together. So we're going to lay those together like this. And if you want to pin it, you can. So I'm just going to make sure they kind of match up there. Give myself a little pin here. Come down on this side. I've got a lot of layers there. Make sure that looks good there. And then we're going to go ahead and sew along here. And you could do about a 5/8 inch seam if you want. So from the edge about 5/8 in. We're going to just sew along there. And I do back stitch up at the bottom and at the top as well. And then when we lay that out, you'll see where it's going to rag. And then we'll put the next one together. So let's go over and do that one at the machine and then we'll come back. Okay, so I have my walking foot on. Just gonna line this up. When I kind of measured it out, my 5/8 is about right to the edge of my foot here. Comes about right 5/8. That little purple mark there is kind of where I measured where a 5/8 seam was gonna be at. And I'm just gonna get started here. Oop. Get my foot pedal in the right spot. I'll do a back stitch. And then we're just going to sew down along this side. Okay, so that is my seam allowance there. Got some fuzzies here. Let me get rid of those. Find my nippers. Always losing my scissors. I don't know what that little fuzzy thing was for. Okay, so let me take these two out so we can see what this looks like. So we're going to do all of our rows across first, but that's basically what you want it to look like, just like that. So we're going to do the next one. And you can see that's probably, once it starts fluffing and doing its thing, you won't see all of that. So let's go over, put the other one on, and we're just going to keep doing our rows. Make sure I don't lose these over there, so I'm going to grab these. So the next block was this one. So again, they're scaring me up there. I'm going to put our wrong sides together, line everything up. This side, make sure that's all lined up. And it does help with that walking foot too, because again, there's quite a few layers there. And just make sure that's straight over there. Pin down. Let me actually kind of put that in the way of my walking foot. This is how I get into trouble. I have my little needles all over the place. Okay. Let me get that where I want it. So for me, I'm just keeping the edge of my foot, the edge of my fabric there, and that was again my 5/8 seam allowance, so that works for me. See what happens. Oh well, I'm already over there. Lift that needle in there and it hooked up on my foot a little bit. Made my seam a little wonky, so I'm going to fix that here. And even though the other seam's there, I'm going to pull it out because I want it to be nice and straight. So don't run over the heads of your needles and knock other stuff off. All right, so that is one row. So I'm going to go leave this, do the next row, and then we'll come back and put them together the other way. Okay, so that was the last row. So let's go back over to the other camera and see how these look. Okay, so now we're going to be putting our rows together. So I like to start with the seams first. So what we're going to do is try to find the middle. We want them open. So I'm gonna, we've got those 3 layers there, right? So I'm going to put a pen in there or a clip. You know, maybe a clip would be better just because we've got a lot of going on there. Let me grab my clips. Okay, so we want the seams to be open when we are sewing, joining the other rows together. So I'm going to clip that so that I know when I get over there, I want it to pin it up here at this top. So that one stays together. We're still using the same seam allowance. The only difference now is we're putting these blocks together. And again, we want these seams open when we sew them together. So it might take you a second there to kind of find your center, because you've got like those 3 layers. So you can see I have it opened right in the middle there and opened right in the middle there. I'm gonna put another clip in that. And then make sure I am nice and even down at this end. And then we're going to sew our 5/8 seam along this side, and again making sure those stay open when we come to them. So let's go do that. Okay. Now when I get to this first seam, I'm probably going to slow down a little bit just to make sure I've got this pressed open. I'm happy with it. It feels really good, so I can tell that it feels correct on the other side. Then we're just going to keep going with our 5/8. And you can see why the walking foot is really helpful. I'm going to just make sure that's all. Oh, it looks like that got folded the wrong way on the other side, so that's why it's a good thing to check. There we go. And let's keep going. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and just make sure these two line up pretty good. It looks like they do. And we're going to keep going and do our back stitch when we get to this side too. All right. Let's take a look. I'm going to head over to the other camera. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. Actually, it looks like this, right? This way. Confuse myself. Make sure I get the wrong ones in the wrong order. Yeah, that's correct. That's what it's going to look like right now. So let's go and we're going to do this top section now, same way. So I'm going to find that first and my second one. Oops. Make sure that's open. Make sure that's opened. And put my little clip back in there. And make sure we're good over on this end. No, it's not a very stiff pen. There. And then this next seam. So you would just follow these same instructions regardless of how big you were making it. So I'm going to put this. Now some people add extra, an extra, like they do a, let me get this on here real quick so I can talk and think at the same time here. All right. They will put like a border, you know how like we would do binding, but they'll put a border around the outside or add an extra layer to get more fluff. You can do that if you want. Or this can just be, we'll cut this and this will you know, fray like everything else. So however you want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and go piece down this side right here. Make sure nothing's shifted under there. Those are how I want them. And I knew this one got shifted again. It's the same one that did it last time. Okay. A little bit of my fabric gets spilled up there. Okay, let's go take a look. All right, there we go. So that's what it looks like for right now. And then the next part is the clipping part. So again, some people will come back with a strip, like a strip, you know, 2-inch or I don't know, 1.5-inch strip or whatever of just this top layer of cotton and add another strip here. And then just to give it a little bit of more ragging on the edges. So you could do that if you wanted. I didn't do it on my last one and it seemed pretty, you know, good for me. I can show you again. I think the only thing I might have done differently is I didn't really even out my blocks very well, but you can see I didn't do that and it still ragged really good. So I think maybe you could do that if you wanted some more stability on the edges or something. Or you can see how the row comes together right there. And this is a little bit thicker than here because you have more layers here than you do here. And so I think that's what it does is it kind of just helps even that out. So, but that didn't bother me. So I left it. But if you want to add an extra layer there or two, so that way you have a little bit more fluff, you can do that. All right, so we're going to get to clipping. Okay, so this is what it looks like clipped. I figured you guys didn't want to sit here for an hour or so and watch me clip it, but I'm just using these Fiskars little spring-loaded ones, and let me tell you, they make a huge difference because my first one that I did, I didn't have these. I just had regular, you know, little nippers, and my hand got so sore. So especially if you're doing a really like big one. So this one's tiny, but the little spring-loaded ones, you don't have to get Fiskars obviously, but definitely like spring-loaded little nippers make a big difference. So I just went through and cut. So you want to do just about 1/8 of an inch between each one, and that's what's going to make it fluffier. So if you do big ones, it's not going to fluff as much. So if you want more of that real nice fluffy rag, definitely do them smaller, about 1/8 of an inch. Takes a little bit longer, but it definitely, once you wash it and stuff, it's going to make it look a lot nicer. And so that's what I did. So I've got everything snipped. And now it's time for it just to go in the washer. So I like to take it outside, give it a shake, kind of get some of the stuff off of it. And then, sorry about that. My dog is, anytime someone walks down the street, my dog barks at him. So apparently somebody's walking down the street. Anyway, so I am going to give it a couple shakes and then I'm going to wash it and dry it in a pillowcase. So I'm just going to roll it up, put it in this pillowcase, and then tie this pillowcase off. And then that helps keep all of the, you know, little fibers and stuff from getting in your washer and your drain lines, and then again in your dryer and all of that. So, and I'm going to throw a little towel in there with it. I guess that kind of helps get it nice and fluffy. So I'll put like a little hand towel in there with it, and then we're going to wash it and dry it, and I'll just show you what it looks like. So stay tuned. I'll be back. Okay, so this is one wash and one dry. And look at how fluffy that is so far. I didn't even press it or anything. I kind of liked the little, crinkly look. You can still see your designs really good. But look at all that fluff there, all that rag. Ragged really good. And again, just one wash, one dry. I threw it in that pillowcase and it was perfect. And my washer and dryer kept clean as well. So now I just need to figure out how to clean the pillowcase. But anyways, that is how it turned out. So I have my first one that I made right here. This is my second one. This is just a little small one for the class, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you kind of an idea of another way to use our designs, our embroidery designs, or our template designs, a lot of different ways, taking something, some of our traditional quilts that have been out there for a long time, doing the X on a rag quilt's been out there for a long time, and doing a design in the middle that holds all the layers together just fine. So I haven't had an issue. Nothing's going to pull apart on this. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to do. If you do a rag quilt project, please post it on Westerly by me. I'd love to see it. But until next time, have fun. Happy quilting.